All right, I think that we'll get started if that works for everybody. Great, thank you. So good evening. My name is Christine Chestnut. I'm the project manager for the proposed bridge replacement of the bridge on Revere Beach Parkway over Broadway, which will be presented tonight. I work in the project management section at the Massachusetts Department of Transportation, Highway Division headquarters in Boston. Welcome to our design public hearing. During the presentation, we'll explain how the project was initiated, the goals of the project, and our anticipated construction approach. Finally, we will explain how you can submit your comments and questions about the project, many of which will be included in tonight's official transcript. First, I will review some notes and procedures. I wanted to let you know that this meeting is being recorded. By continuing attendance in this design public hearing, you're consenting to participate in a recorded event. The meeting will be open to question and answers at the end of the formal presentation, and I would like to note that your feedback is very important to our design. All Mass DOT activities, including public hearings, are free of discrimination. We welcome diversity from across our service area. If you have any questions or concerns, please visit the website provided to reach the Office of Diversity and Civil Rights. Hopefully you saw on your way in at that podium, there's an attendance sheet for everybody to sign in, and there's handouts. Yeah, feel free to go get them, don't worry. The handouts contain details regarding the project and also information for our project-specific website and ways that you can reach us for any questions that you might have after the meeting. So let me introduce who you'll see here from our team tonight. So as I mentioned previously, I'm Christine Chestnut. I'm the Mass DOT project manager for the full bridge replacement project. I'm joined tonight by our Mass DOT District 4 structural engineer, Jonathan Lee. To represent the Mass DOT state right-of-way, don't worry, Michael Rudderman is here. From Massachusetts DOT Legislative Affairs, we have Daniel Fielding. And our design engineer for the full bridge replacement project is the firm Howard Stein Hudson, and their lead structural engineer is Paul Barthum. And we also have Bridget Myers, who's the manager of roadway design, and Angela Beaker, who is the traffic engineer. If anybody should require translation services tonight, we have Susanna Carella here. So how will we keep you informed? The notice of hearing was included on our webpage. The notice also appeared in various web-based publications, and a copy of this notice will be attached to the meeting transcript. On the slide, you'll also find our email and website where you'll find project information. You can scan the QR code, which will bring you to project information and a comment sheet. And as I mentioned, that website here, the https publicgovdelivery.com, that website is a project-specific website. So the purpose of these hearings is to provide an assured method whereby the Commonwealth of Massachusetts can furnish to the public information concerning the state's highway construction proposals and to afford every interested resident of the area an opportunity to be heard on any proposed project. At the same time, the hearings afford the Commonwealth an additional opportunity to receive information from local sources which would be of value to the state in their design. And we'll use this information in making final decisions on what design should be advanced for development. So what project are we presenting tonight? So tonight, the project we're presenting is the bridge replacement project. It will replace the bridge that carries Revere Beach Parkway over Broadway. We're currently in the 25% design stage, which means that what we are presenting tonight are the proposed design, which we would like to solicit your feedback and input on. We estimate the total cost of the project to be approximately $16 million, which will come from federal aid funding, with the Federal Highway Administration funding 80% of the total construction costs, and Mass DOT funds the remaining 20%. The project must be programmed in the statewide Transportation Improvement Program in the appropriate federal fiscal year in order for Mass DOT to solicit bids for eventual construction. The total estimated cost of the project does not include any right-of-way acquisition costs. The design is expected to be completed in the spring of 2026, and construction is expected to be completed within 3 years from advertisement. So how did we get here tonight at the design public hearing? So this is a timeline of what we have been doing to prepare to present the 25% design to you tonight. So in 2021, Massachusetts Department of Transportation issued a design notice to proceed for Howard Stein Hudson for their design services. In August of 2022, Howard Stein Hudson submitted the preliminary structures report, and it was approved by Mass DOT. And then a subsurface exploration program was conducted, with the bridge type selection worksheet being approved in October of 2023. Mass DOT reviewed the pre-25% conceptual design in January of 2024, and you may remember, if you were here in March of 2024, we presented that conceptual design at a public information meeting. In July of 2024, the 25% design was submitted to Mass DOT and then approved in early winter, and we're here tonight to present that to you. So what is our agenda tonight? So we'll begin with the project location. Then we'll talk about how the project was initiated, including the existing conditions of the bridge. We'll discuss the goals of the project, the alternative analysis and proposed design, our anticipated construction approach, how the construction may affect our roadway users, the next step after tonight's design public hearing, and then we will open the meeting up to questions and answers. So where is the project located? So the bridge replacement project is located on Revere Beach Parkway over Broadway. The project scope also includes improvements at the intersection of Revere Beach Parkway eastbound and westbound ramps in Broadway, or the residential portion of Revere Beach Parkway. The project along Broadway stretches approximately between Mill Creek and just south of Taft Street. So how was this project initiated? So the bridge was built in 1930 and then widened in 1958. As you know, the bridge is vital to the Commonwealth as it provides local connections between Medford, Everett, Chelsea, and Revere. The bridge also provides regional connections between Route 1, Route 1A, and Interstate 93. The existing bridge over Broadway currently provides substandard vertical clearance. As you may be aware, the reason for the project is that the existing bridge is in poor condition. There are numerous noted deficiencies, which is why Mass DOT has identified this bridge for replacement. Shown in the left photo is the underside of the bridge, where you can see exposed rebar and deteriorated rebar. The photo on the right shows the superstructure, or the top portion of the bridge, frame, concrete, and steel deterioration. The existing bridge is currently undergoing structural repairs. That project is separate from this Mass DOT project, and it was initiated by the District 4's office. Our project team has been made aware of the repairs and have been kept in the loop so that we could determine if there is any conflicts or concerns from that project that would affect this full bridge replacement project. The pictures shown here are from Mass DOT's latest bridge inspection, performed in May of 2024. As you can see, there are areas where the concrete has completely spalled or separated off from the existing steel trusses that are heavily deteriorated. The inspection is what prompted District 4 to take action to begin the repair prior to the bridge's full replacement. The repairs are scheduled to begin very soon and continue through the winter months, and weather permitting, be completed in April of 2025. We anticipate the bridge reopening to its previous existing conditions sometime in May of 2025. Should you have any specific questions regarding the repair project, please wait until tonight's design public hearing is complete for the full bridge replacement project, and we'll have personnel here tonight that can meet with you to answer those questions separately. Now, moving back to the full bridge replacement project. This is a picture of the existing roadway. As you can see, Revere Beach Parkway has two 11 to 12-foot westbound travel lanes and three 11 to 12-foot eastbound travel lanes. A median is provided, which separates the two directions of travel along the Revere Beach Parkway. The average daily traffic volumes are 23,000 vehicles per day in the eastbound direction and 15,500 vehicles per day in the westbound direction. Currently, there are limited pedestrian accommodations and no bike accommodations along Revere Beach Parkway. So this image shows the existing conditions on Broadway. So it currently has 24-foot wide travel lanes in both northbound and southbound directions. Due to the width of the travel lanes, they're often observed being utilized as two lanes in each direction between the ramp intersections. The average daily traffic volumes on this roadway are 99,700 vehicles per day in the northbound direction and 9,500 vehicles per day in the southbound direction. As you can see, there are no existing bicycle accommodations under the bridge, and there is a 10-foot wide sidewalk on the northbound side and a 5-foot sidewalk on the southbound side. Broadway is also included as part of the MBTA's bus routes 116 and 117. The figure shows the bus route in the dashed line with existing bus stops along the route. The nearest bus stops to this project are located at Taft Street to the north and Cabot Street to the south. The MBTA bus network redesign as part of the Better Bus project identifies route T116 as an all-day high-frequency route. Sorry. The figure here highlights existing pedestrian and bicycle accommodations within the project limits. As you can see in purple, a bicycle lane on the southbound side of Broadway and a shared lane arrow for bikes traveling on the northbound side of Broadway. And for existing pedestrian accommodations shown in green are located throughout the project area on Broadway and the residential portion of the Revere Beach Parkway. This figure shows the existing conditions of Revere Beach Parkway eastbound ramp at the Broadway intersection. This intersection has outdated signal equipment, the pavement markings have faded, Crossings lack ADA accessibility. The pavement is in poor condition, and there are no existing bicycle accommodations. Since this aerial imagery has been taken, the intersection has been modified to provide a morning peak period bus lane southbound on Broadway. This figure here shows the Revere Beach Parkway westbound ramp at the Broadway intersection. This intersection is currently stop controlled, and vehicle movements are restricted to right in, right out from the Revere Beach Parkway westbound ramps. As you can see, there is parking along Broadway that is within the intersection. The existing crosswalks are not ADA compliant, and the only existing bicycle accommodations are along Broadway, where a southbound bike lane is provided, but ends at the intersection with the Revere Beach Parkway westbound ramps. The intersection has also been modified since this aerial imagery has been taken to provide a morning peak period bus lane southbound along Broadway and remove the parking on the side within the intersection. So what do we want to accomplish with this full bridge replacement project? Now that we've reviewed some of the existing problems with the bridge, how do we plan to resolve these problems and provide a safe bridge on the Revere Beach Parkway over Broadway and improve Broadway for all users while meeting current standards? Paul Barthum, the manager of structural engineering for Howard Stein Hudson, will now discuss the proposed improvement and goals of this project.
Thanks, Christine, and good evening, everyone. As Christine had indicated, the primary goal of the project is to replace the existing structurally deficient bridge with a new modern bridge structure while maintaining the existing Broadway traffic below the bridge. The existing bridge was constructed in 1930 and widened in 1958, and the bridge, deck, and superstructure are in poor condition. We are looking to replace the bridge, but maintain its historic aesthetics. We are also looking to improve intersection safety, enhance multimodal access, and transit priority along Broadway, and minimize impacts to roadway users during construction. Other project considerations made part of the design are the MBTA's Better Bus project and their goal to increase service along Broadway within this corridor, Mass DOT's statewide pedestrian and bicycle plans, Mass DOT's healthy transportation policy, and making connections within our project to projects being completed by others. As previously mentioned, the project scope includes complete removal and replacement of the existing bridge structure. As part of that work, we will need to rebuild Revere Beach Parkway to increase the profile over the bridge. Raising the profile of Revere Beach Parkway is required in order to improve the vertical clearance over Broadway. As the existing bridge is on the National Register of Historic Places, we also intend to maintain the historic character of the existing bridge. We are proposing to make minor changes to Revere Beach Parkway in the final condition. However, we are proposing that the current westbound shoulder become an auxiliary lane to assist traffic merging and diverging onto Revere Beach Parkway. The project proposes to connect back into the existing Revere Beach Parkway configuration at the project limits. The limits of our project begin at the Revere-Chelsea city line to the south and continue north underneath the bridge and up to the Taft Street intersection. We intend to reconstruct sidewalks on both sides of Broadway, add bicycle accommodations, and include bus priority measures, including bus lanes where feasible. The Revere Beach Parkway eastbound ramp intersection, pictured in the upper right, is currently a signalized intersection that requires improvements and upgrades along with multimodal accommodations and ADA-compliant curb ramps and crossings. The Revere Beach Parkway westbound ramp intersection, pictured at the bottom of the slide, is a stop-controlled intersection with right-in, right-out access, which requires improvements to multimodal accommodations and ADA curb-compliant ramps and crossings. In the following slides, we will discuss some of the design alternatives we have considered for the project. For the bridge replacement, we considered many options, but only 2 viable options were determined to suit this site: a spread pre-stressed concrete box beam superstructure and a spread steel stringer superstructure. For the intersection alternatives, we evaluated control strategies based on safety, cost, environmental impacts, traffic operations, and multimodal accommodations. For the Revere Beach Parkway eastbound ramp intersection, we determined the signalized intersection was the preferred control. Other alternatives had additional right-of-way impacts, potential impacts to the Broadway Bridge over Mill Creek, and impacts to the Revere Beach Parkway Bridge, and therefore were determined infeasible. The Revere Beach Parkway westbound ramp was analyzed as an unsignalized intersection, its current condition, a signalized intersection, and as a roundabout. The results of the analyses showed that the unsignalized intersection has a high benefit to cost ratio, limited environmental and right-of-way impacts, and there are currently limited safety concerns. The signalized intersection showed that the cost of the signal would outweigh the benefits, and the roundabout had very significant parkland impacts. What is the preferred alternative? The preferred bridge alternative is a simple span steel stringer bridge with a reinforced concrete deck. This structure more closely represents the historic bridge structure being replaced than the other alternatives. As you can see from the graphic shown, the Revere Beach Parkway would include new pavement, pavement markings, and barrier to be installed within the limits shown. The proposed design also includes adding an auxiliary lane between the on and off ramps to and from Broadway to allow vehicles more time to accelerate and decelerate when entering and exiting Revere Beach Parkway. Broadway provides new pavement, pavement markings, and signage, an ADA-compliant sidewalk, all-day bus lanes in both directions, and 11-foot travel lanes in each direction. The Revere Beach Parkway will have 3 11-foot lanes with variable width shoulders eastbound, the right side of the graphic, and we'll have 2 11-foot travel lanes, an 11-foot auxiliary lane with variable width shoulders westbound. Eastbound and westbound traffic will be separated by a variable width median. Broadway to the north of the Revere Beach Parkway Bridge will have a 5.5-foot wide sidewalk, a 5.5-foot wide raised bike lanes, 1 11-foot travel lane, and 1 12-foot bus lane provided in each direction. Beginning under the bridge, Broadway will provide 5.5-foot wide sidewalks in each direction. Traveling southbound on Broadway, a 5.5-foot raised bike lane, an 11.5-foot bus lane, 11-foot travel lane, and a 10.5-foot left turn lane will be provided. Traveling northbound on Broadway, an 11-foot travel lane and 11.5-foot shared bus bike lane will be provided. Due to the constrained width of the bridge and need for a southbound left turn lane for the Revere Beach Parkway eastbound ramp intersection, the bus lane widths were reduced to 11.5-foot lanes, and the northbound bus lane provides access for bikes in this portion of the project. The preferred alternative for the Revere Beach Parkway eastbound ramps at Broadway intersection is a signalized intersection as previously mentioned. The intersection will provide updated traffic signal equipment, pavement markings and signage, new sidewalks, and pavement. The intersection will continue to provide similar geometry to the existing condition. However, the southbound left turn lane will be formalized to provide a left turn lane, and the northbound right turn lane will provide access to buses traveling through the intersection. The preferred alternative for the Revere Beach Parkway westbound ramps at Broadway intersection is a stop-controlled intersection. The intersection will continue to provide right-in, right-out access from the ramp approaches, but will be modified to provide islands which aid in deterring illegal movements from these approaches. Parking within the intersection will be removed. All-day bus lanes will be provided in each direction on Broadway, and bike lanes will be provided within the intersection. A crossing on the Broadway southbound approach will be provided with rectangular, rapid flashing beacons to warn drivers to crossing pedestrians. The crossing locations on the ramp approaches will be raised to slow drivers approaching. The bus stop currently located at Taft Street, northbound on Broadway, will be relocated closer to the intersection, and the existing parking spaces in this location will be moved to the existing bus stop location. We are currently coordinating with the MBTA regarding their bus system infrastructure improvements, on-call, bus lanes, transit priority corridors project. This project has recently constructed a morning-only peak southbound bus lane on Broadway in this area. Our design reflects the changes as part of this project. We are also ensuring that our design is coordinated with an adjacent Mass DOT project to the south, which is the reconstruction of Broadway in Chelsea from City Hall Avenue to the Revere City line. That project includes traffic signal upgrades, a dedicated bike lane, and upgrades to existing sidewalks and bus stops. What is the construction approach? The project will be procured through a design bid build contract by Mass DOT and bid awarded contractor. The project is proposing to use traditional construction techniques, including cast-in-place concrete with on-site forming and curing procedures. The bridge and Revere Beach Parkway reconstruction will be completed over 3 primary stages of construction, with each stage duration taking approximately 1 year for a total duration of 3 years. Any necessary closures and rerouting of Broadway traffic will occur at night only. This graphic shows stage 1 construction occurring on the north side of Revere Beach Parkway, where demolition of the existing bridge and reconstruction of the new bridge will occur. 2 lanes will be maintained in both directions on Revere Beach Parkway during the closure, and ramp access will be maintained during all 3 stages. No impacts to Broadway are expected as part of this construction stage. This graphic shows stage 2 construction occurring between the southern section of the newly reconstructed bridge and the southern limit of the existing bridge. Again, maintaining 2 lanes on Revere Beach Parkway and no impacts to Broadway. This graphic shows stage 3 construction occurring at the southern section of the bridge. Nighttime work is only anticipated for selected construction operations such as bridge demolition, and placement of new steel superstructure elements, which will require closure of Broadway within the limits of the bridge. The graphic shown below is our preliminary detour plan to get around the site on the nights requiring closure. How will the road factor be affected? How will the road user be affected? The project is going to maintain 2 lanes of traffic on Revere Beach Parkway in both eastbound and westbound directions at all times. The work zones will be safely delineated with temporary lane crossovers. There will be limited nighttime closures to Broadway under the bridge, and abutter access will be always maintained. I will now hand things back over to Christine to complete the presentation.
Thank you, Paul. So what are the anticipated environmental, cultural, and community impacts of the project? We are working closely with the Massachusetts Historical Commission since our bridge is part of the National Register of Historic Places. We are conducting hazardous materials research, working with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to comply with the National Environmental Policy Act, and have submitted a water quality data form. We are also working with the Massachusetts Office of Coastal Zone Management for review of our project. I will now turn the presentation over to Michael Rudderman for Massachusetts DOT State Right-of-Way.
Thank you, Christine. My name is Michael Ruderman, and like the project manager, I work in MassDOT's highway section, specifically right-of-way. Right-of-way is the part of MassDOT that has the responsibility for acquiring any interests in land, whether it's temporary or permanent, that are necessary to get this job done, in addition to what the state already owns within the road limits. And road limits is just the fancier term for that invisible line on one side to the invisible line on another side. If we need anything else, it's the right-of-way section, and in here in Revere, that would be me and my crew of people that would meet with anyone whose property is going to be affected by any taking, whether it's temporary or permanent, and explain the whole right-of-way process in more detail. It looks like from our plans here at the 25% stage, and that just means that, you know, in that long timeline of things that must be done to get these plans ready, we're at the point where at 25%, we have a pretty good idea if we're going to need any additional area for working. It turns out we will. 3 locations. If you want to take a look at the plans, I can show you in more detail. I'll give you the addresses right now, and if you own property at 80 Broadway, 88, or 85 Broadway, then I'm going to be meeting with you personally, or one of my staff. We'll make an appointment with you. We'll find a time that's convenient. We'll show you all the plans, and we'll explain first how your rights are protected even when the state determines that it needs to use the process of eminent domain to acquire some extra land here, even temporarily. And these are 3 temporary easements for working space at an intersection. And the temporary part means we're going to release all rights back to the owners when construction is done. This is just for access during the period of time that construction needs to be out there and working on the ground. Formally, I should mention that all rights are protected under both Massachusetts and federal law. It's in the Massachusetts State Constitution. It's also in the in federal law. The protections come from the Real Property Act of 1970. It starts with the right to be notified and the right to be kept informed, the right to have a meeting in person with somebody representing the Right-of-Way Bureau, the right to have whatever damages are going to occur to the property, meaning you know, physical impacts or temporary takings, the right to have that appraised and to be informed of the appraisal and to be offered compensation along with what we appraise the damages at. And if at the end of the process you don't agree with our appraisal, there's a process for reviewing that and appealing it. Like I said, if you own property that's going to be specifically affected by one of those 3 temporary easements, my crew will be reaching out to you as soon as we get to the stage where we're given the go-ahead to start those public contacts, probably 4, 5, or 6 months before construction begins, which is already estimated for spring of '26. Is that correct? So I'll be here for the rest of the night for any questions, and if people want to look at the set of plans, preliminary as they are, they're over there on the table, and we'll take questions during the course of the meeting as they come up.
Thank you, Michael. So what are our next steps? So tonight, we're here at the design public hearing. From here, we'll move on to the final design of the project in the spring and summer of 2025, with a project advertisement and award in the summer of 2026. How will we keep you informed? So as I mentioned earlier in the project, but just as a reminder, there's a few ways that we'll keep you informed. In the handout, the last sheet of the handout is a mail-in sheet. So if you have any further questions or comments that you think of after you leave here tonight, feel free to submit that form to us, or you can also email us at MassDOT Project Management at dot.state.ma.us. You can also find our project information on the MassDOT website. You can scan the QR code that you see here, and that will lead you to project information. And as I mentioned previously, we have a project-specific website that you can find at this web address here. And we'll put updates on there for the project as we move forward. So the next part of the hearing that we're going to move to is questions and discussions. And so as stated previously, the purpose of this hearing is to solicit your input regarding this full bridge replacement project. As the plans are not yet complete, we may not be able to answer all of your questions or respond to all of your comments at this time. Finally, it's normal procedure to ask elected officials to offer their comments first. At this time, I'd like to introduce Dan Fielding from Mass DOT Legislative Affairs Group.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Christine. My name is Dan Fielding. I work with Mass DOT's Government and Community Affairs Office. As mentioned, it is tradition to recognize area officials if they had remarks first. And I know we have Councilor Paul Argenzio here. Councilor McKenna, I didn't know if you want to make any remarks. I do. Okay. I have some questions. The floor is yours. Okay, thank you. Would you have to stand up here, Christine, or the mic, or the mic?
Yeah, I'm just going to hand you the mic.
So I have a couple of questions. First of all, we have in Mill Creek, we have a lot of wildlife. We have swans, ducks. Are they going to be affected at all?
So we will go through all of the permitting procedures. We'll make sure that we get all of our permits with DEP and Massachusetts, what was it, Coastal Zone Management Group. So yeah.
Yeah, that's right across the street from the bridge. It's
Yeah.
right where the ice skating rink is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, the next question is, any trees or green space going to be used for this? Trees going to be coming down, and we have a lot of green space down around the bridge. Is that going to be utilized, taken away?
No, so we're not planning to take away green space. I don't know our tree count number.
3 or 4. Can we replace those trees once we get them down? Can we replace those trees as they come down? Because Revere is in desperate need of trees.
Yeah, our group, so Mass DOT's both like landscape group and environmental group will be keeping track of that and making sure that.
That's what I have. That's it.
Yeah,
Thank you very
absolutely.
much.
Yep, of course. You have more to say? Yeah,
Oh.
go ahead.
Good evening. Paul Agenzio, Ward 4 City Councilor. The addresses that you mentioned that would be affected, are they hearing this for the first time tonight?
Yes, today, because tonight's
So
our
this is a surprise to
25%
them?
design.
Okay. So will they be compensated for use of their land?
Yes, so it's temporary easements right now that we have, and our state right-of-way group will work with them.
And this, I think one of them is a business. It won't adversely affect their operation of their business.
No, we will work with them to make sure that it does not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you, councilors. Oh. One more, old friend, Councilor Ira Novoselsky. I just want to recognize you as well. Also, I just want to mention that we have previously briefed your local and state delegation, including the mayor, That includes Chelsea and Everett as well. Representative Turco and Janino both called today. They couldn't make it. I wanted to pass along their regrets. And again, we intend to work with your community officials throughout the project in this process to deliver the best project. So thank you for having us here tonight.
Okay, so now the hearing will be open to the public for questions and comments regarding the full bridge replacement project. Should you have any specific questions regarding the repairs project, please wait until the public hearing for the full replacement project is over. We have personnel here tonight that can answer those questions. So how we'll do this is, if you have a question, just let me know. We have this microphone here so that you're captured on the recording. Please just identify yourself with your name and affiliation, whether you are an abutter or a local official or a concerned citizen, and if you could spell your last name.
Thank you. I know I didn't have any questions before, but on the south side of the bridge, we have the championship signs from the Revere High School,
Oh, yeah.
so that are attached to the building. Are you folks going to take them down and store them away and put them back up when they're through, either on the temporary repairs or on the final design package? What you're going to do?
So I know for the full bridge replacement project, we will take them down and take care of them and then put them back up.
What about the temporary repairs?
I don't know about that, but they can answer those questions
good.
at the end of the
We'll ask
public
that.
hearing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tabitha Henriquez, Henriquez. I'm affiliated with 4Kids Only After School, not only as an employee, but as a parent. What kind of protocols are we taking for an after-school program and protecting the kids, knowing that there's going to be no parking anywhere near the facility? How are we going to help parents with sort of special needs or parents that have mobility issues or children like my own child who has this very severe allergy to cold weather, where she can't walk a quarter mile to be able to get to our car after program? And so what kind of safety protocols are going to be put into place for families and kids in this program?
Right. So let me just, if you could show the slideshow again, I'm going to show the improvements to the, thank you. So I think so for the full bridge replacement project, let me just get to the slide that shows. Is this the best slide to show the improvements? Okay. Oh, this one. All right. I know it's hard to see. But for where your business is, right now you have 2 parking spots on the road, right? And you have a crosswalk. For the full bridge replacement project, that crosswalk is going to remain where it is, but we're going to add, what are they called, beacon?
Yeah, they're working their project flashing beacons, so it'll allow people to be able to see, cars that approach to be able to see better people who are crossing the street in that location.
So we're going to improve the safety there.
Okay.
Yep. And then where the existing bus stop is right now, that's where those 2 parking spaces will be.
Okay.
That will be your new, like, after the full replacement project conditions. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Chris Crombie, 4Kids Only After School. We're one of the director of operations for the business at 85 Broadway, one of the affected addresses. And like Tabitha, my coworker mentions, we have about 80 children that are currently coming to our program, our after-school program, every day. We have about 15 staff. We have a lot of like exiting and entering the building And so, I look forward, I just want to just say I look forward to speaking with you a little bit further about how we're going to be affected. Because right now, with pickup and drop-off already on Broadway and the congestion that already exists during rush hour, we only anticipate this making operations a little bit more challenging on our end. And so I just want to say from our company, For Kids Only After School, we look forward to speaking with everybody involved to make this as less of an issue for us as possible. There's going to be a lot of construction. We're expecting, rodents. We're expecting, things to, unearthing this environment is going to create a lot of change and a lot of, it's going to have quite an effect. And so I just, as the Director of Operations, I look forward to working with everybody to make this process as smooth as possible.
Absolutely. We appreciate that.
Hi, I'm Olivia. I'm also with 4 Kids Only After School. Just like on a day-to-day basis, we have the buses that go to the schools to pick up most of the kids and bring them back to 4 Kids Only. And the bus does pull right up in front of the building, but given the construction being blocked off to the Taft Street, will they need to be dropped off there and walk down? That was kind of a big concern of mine.
So after we close out this question and answer session, our representatives from District 4 can answer that for the temporary repairs. But as far as the full bridge replacement and like your long-term conditions, that bus stop that's now further up the street from the facility will be right outside the facility, if I understand it correctly. So then your buses should be able to utilize that space.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Oh, so hello. Is this on? Hi, so I'm the Executive Director of FKO for Kids Only After School Programs.
Hey.
And I just really want to, echo what they've been saying in that we are a public charity here in the community. We have a licensed capacity. We're licensed by the Department of Early Education and Care. We have a licensed capacity of 140 children. We recently received a large contract by the state to serve low-income working families, families who are homeless, families who are suffering from abuse and neglect. We anticipate an increase in our population from 80 plus right now to about 140 in very recent weeks because of our contract with the state. I am so concerned about the safety of the children with the startup of this project. Dark, winter, cold nights, sleek streets, and we are required to have families come in, sign their child off, so that we can release custodial care back to the parent. I don't know where they're going to park their cars, their vehicles, and how are they going to walk in, sign their child out, and then take their child back to the car. I'm deeply concerned about this. All of our pickup starts between probably around 4 p.m. and ends at 5:30 p.m. It's an hour and a half when our families get out of work and come to get their children in the program. Many of them, as I said, are subsidized by the state for their childcare, and I just feel like we need to have certainty of a plan that these children are kept safe. That's my number one concern.
Yeah, I understand.
Is that their
I
safety
think-
and their walking in the
I think
streets
your concern
of winter.
is with the temporary repairs.
Yes.
Okay, and so we're going to talk about that after the design public hearing is over. So the design public hearing is for the full bridge replacement project.
Yep, and
that will be the condition with the bus stop changing the location with the 2 parking spots, maintaining your existing crosswalk, adding beacons to it so that it's safer for your students. So your long-term conditions
Yep.
won't be changing. Just those 2 parking spots. Right now, we have proposed switching with the bus stop.
Correct. I think if you were to witness the flow of the day at pickup time, not drop off. We pick up, remember, we serve only Revere children here. And at drop off after school, the buses that we have pick up from all the schools across the city, and 2 buses bring the children to our program. That's not such an issue. It's at pickup time when every individual parent, family member, caregiver comes to pick up those children. That's where I'm really concerned for both phases of the project.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just want to put it out there, and I know we've been talking with the department, and I
Yeah.
appreciate the conversation that I recently had, but I just really, it's happening fast, right, within a week.
Yeah.
So like, I don't even know what to tell my families, you know, in terms of where are they going to park their car and how are they going to get their child at pickup time? I
Yeah.
don't want children walking in the dark streets at night. I just don't think it's right to any child. So I just needed to say that.
No, I appreciate it. And as far as the full bridge replacement project goes, like, that's why we're here early for us at the 25% design. We still have to do the 75% design, 100% design, and then the PS&E package. So during all of those stages, we'll have an opportunity to make sure that, like, your concerns are heard, and we have our traffic and our highway design experts here tonight to make sure we take that feedback in and address your concerns. I think you'll be happy with the long-term design of the roadway in front of your business.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
Is this on? Tom Skorowski, Chief of Planning and Community Development for the city. So a couple comments about the replacement and then a few about the repair. So we just completed a Broadway master plan, which the actual underpass features heavily in that plan because it's not just an underpass, it's a gateway to the city for many entering the city for the first time. So I didn't see anything in terms of aesthetics, but would recommend that, you know, you have that really well lit, much better than it is today, have opportunities for public art if there aren't already, and then otherwise just creating an attractive gateway. I know there's some historic preservation there. I would just say some of that history, I'm not sure if it needs to be preserved in terms of what we're looking at today with that bridge. So, you know, don't let that hinder your imagination to actually have something we can all be proud of as a community. And then the second question, and it's kind of related to some of the concerns that FKO had brought up. With the bridge itself, it's a really complicated project that takes a lot of design and time to plan and construct. The work on Broadway itself is relatively uncomplicated in the grand scheme of things, and I didn't know from a phasing standpoint if that work could be fast-tracked. So we're seeing now with the repair project what impacts it's having on not just FKO, but the other businesses in the area. And I think if we had a stronger foundation for pedestrian safety in place when the actual bridge was rebuilt, we could better withstand some of those regional impacts that we'll be seeing on our roadways. So those are the comments on the replacement. With regard to the repair, appreciate the district's willingness to work with the folks here today that are really interested in what those impacts will be, and they're going to be significant, particularly with daycare pickup, but also for all of our local businesses. So thanks for your willingness in advance to work with our community here on that.
Thank you. Yeah, in terms of the gateway to the city on Broadway, we agree. We have plans to have that underpass be well lit, and also our Mass DOT's Cultural Resources Group will be working with the Massachusetts Historic Commission to make sure that we kind of respect the history of the bridge that's there now, not the parts that may not be aesthetically pleasing, but those that are. And just working with you to make sure that, you know, those improvements now will have bicycle lane and wide on both sides, northbound and southbound, pedestrian sidewalks. So it should be a much nicer gateway to the city, if you will. In regards to fast tracking the Broadway work, I can't remember what phase the Broadway work is at. Is it each phase as we go? Yeah, do you mind going back to the slideshow, please, Andrew? Thank you. Do you want me to show you?
Yeah, just maybe pick up stage one. Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Okay. So because we need to construct the bridge in 3 stages, we're gonna have to excavate like within Broadway, and we'll obviously be relocating the sidewalks and keeping it safe in that area. But it would be really difficult to be able to build all of Broadway kind of right off the bat. So that's where it's gonna have to fall in stages, just because of how the bridge abutment is very tight to the roadway and to the back of the sidewalk. So I'm sure you can understand if we gotta dig a hole, and we actually have, the existing bridge is a 3-sided truss, and it actually goes down fairly deep. It's probably like 8 feet deep. So we're gonna have quite an excavation that's gonna occur there. So we're gonna have like steel sheeting or supportive excavation to support the roadway, support sidewalks. And that's why it would be difficult to build all of Broadway at first.
Right, the full duration, I understand. I think the further you go northbound, and particularly like the flashing beacon crosswalks, the improved sidewalks in that area, that I suspect would be less impacted by the construction work itself. If we could do something about getting that work moving a little bit quicker.
Sure, we can take a look at
The
that.
bus lanes don't need to be in place or any of that anytime soon.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yep.
I have a question, too.
Yeah.
Joanne McKenna, Ward 1 Counselor. I just have a couple of questions, and he's probably going to ask the same thing. He had called me, one of the residents, and asked me if any of the residents are going to lose any parking spaces on Revere Beach Parkway. So I was just wondering, that's closest to the bridge. The other thing is, how long are you going to bait for rodents? Because if you're going down 8 feet, you're going to stir up a lot of rodents around there. So, and we do have residents, so that's a concern of mine, and I'm sure the residents that live there too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a valid concern. I don't know the answer to that question, but I will find out and get back to you on that. So for the parking, are we losing any, we're not losing any parking on that portion of Revere Beach Parkway?
Jimmy, you want to?
No, I'm a homeowner and I live in the area. Now, as you probably know, Route 16 splits right about the 800 block when you're going westbound. If you want to go downtown Broadway, it splits. So it's a separate road, if you will, a side road.
Yep.
There's 12 or 14 two-family homes that go along that stretch that leads right up to Broadway. And on the corner is the Youth and Motion facility for the kids that
Yep.
they were talking about on 85 Broadway.
Yep.
There were some guys outside today that I was talking to. They were putting signs up right across from the homes. The street I'm talking about, Route 16, that leads to Broadway. All the people, these are all multiple family homes. These are all multiple family homes. There's probably 4 or 5 cars to each home.
Yep.
And just like the lady was talking about where the kids go, parking is a big issue there. So it's not just that place that's going to be impacted, because the people that live there, that live in those homes, which there are many of, right along Route 16, they have problems parking too, because they're older homes and small driveways, and there's 3 or 4 families per home, so everybody's hunting for spaces to park.
Yep.
So the thing of it is, they were there today putting some signs up. They were covering the signs so you couldn't read them because they're not in effect yet.
Uh-huh.
But one sign that I did notice was, when you go along that Route 16 section, you can take a left turn on the up ramp to get onto Route 16 from those houses. And most people use that. And by the same token, when you're coming home and you're coming down Broadway, heading northbound, you can take a right turn going Route 16 the other way, which is legal, and then you can get to your home and park. Now, when you guys start to work, one of the guys I was talking to today that was putting signs up, he was saying from one point on that section down to 85 Broadway, they're not going to allow parking on that area because they're going to, he didn't give me an explanation, but the sign is going to say, trucks turn left here. Well, that means if they're coming down Route 16 westbound in front of the homes, where the people normally take a left turn to pick up Route 16 heading westbound, the sign's saying is for trucks to turn left there. So my question, I guess, is, what I'm getting to is, are they gonna change the direction of traffic in that area that I'm talking about? You know, with the on-ramps and off-ramps, where you get on and off, and people come home and use the ramps on and off? Are they gonna change the way the traffic circulates during the construction, so that you can't get in a certain way, because they're gonna make it one way this way? Do you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. Yeah, you know, you're being very clear. So for the full replacement project, we are not going to be changing the direction of.
Traffic will flow the same way?
Yeah, we will, everything will be flowing the same way. For the temporary repair project, I do not know, but we have people here that can answer your question after the meeting.
I think that's what it is. For the temporary time, they're gonna
Temporary.
change the traffic flow while they're working on the bridge.
I'm not sure, but we'll find out for you.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. I think this gentleman in the Red Sox side.
Anthony Testa. I'm an employee at Revere FKO, and my main concern is, among all my other colleagues, the parking. Like, where would we park, and if tickets are going to be handed out and stuff like that, depending on where we park, and just that general.
Okay, good, thank you. Yeah, and so I think your main concern is during the temporary repairs project, and so we'll answer that right after this hearing. So during construction, we won't be, we'll just be moving those 2 spots that are out in front. We're going to be swapping that with that existing bus stop. So we won't be affecting any parking. We won't be affecting any parking during construction. No. No, not during the full bridge replacement project. No. Yes.
Hi, my name is Kayla. I work with 4Kids Only After School too.
Hi.
But I know the big concern a lot of times is like parking, but also like it's winter time, and I think that like if a day that snows, what happens to those parking that you guys are talking about that like will be available for people? But on Broadway, there's always like already struggle to find parking, and also like there's big traffic there, accidents. So wintertime is even hectic. So like I'm wondering like what's the plan for you guys on snow days, or like I know like probably it's gonna take time, like more than 3 months, but like what's on snow days, like when there's no parking available because it snowed a lot, like what's the plan?
Yep. So they'll definitely talk to you about that after. So specifically, what will we do on snow days during the temporary repairs? Any other questions for the full bridge replacement project? Did you have any questions over here? No? You're okay. Okay. Yeah, sure thing.
For me, well, my name is Jennifer Ruiz, R-U-I-Z, and I also work for 4Kids Only After School. I'm the site coordinator for the program. So just more of like a common-wise for just a temporary is more of like, you know, the staff had mentioned, the parking. Just, you know, my only concern would be, again, like if we're not able to find parking for the staff, as we're going to be starting using the lot, you know, we have children who use that parking space for playtime. You know, it's just already trying to find a system in place to make this as smooth as possible for them not to get a ticket, you know, figuring out like where can they park. Just because if we don't have staff that day, we can't run the program.
Right.
You know, so that's mostly like my biggest concern as a site coordinator, and just making sure that we are just finding like a solution for them as well.
Absolutely.
But
Okay. Yeah, of course.
Hi, my name is Nick, and I also work at FKO. For the long-term project, you talk about the bus stop swapping spaces with the parkings. Is there like because what's gonna happen is like, you know, we know still gonna have the 2 parking spots, but I think that it's working fine as it is now. Is there a specific reason the swap is being made?
There is. There is a specific reason. Do you mind speaking to that? Okay. Do you want a certain slide up?
Yeah, maybe the intersection one is a little bit closer.
Okay.
You can see the parking spots, but
Is this one?
yeah.
Or the other one?
No, the other one.
Okay,
Yeah.
you got it. Thank you.
So The reason for the swap is because of the bus lane, we have to be able to transition the bus back into the general traffic flow without, causing any kind of safety concerns. So the best way we could see to do that was to provide the bus stop closer to the intersection, transition them back into the flow of traffic, and then move those parking spaces a little bit farther. And then you have better access from the bus stop to that crossing as well, which will have the rectangular rapid flashing beacon. So it's maybe moving, I would say about like 100 feet, the parking spaces. Yeah.
Thank you. And will the beacon be next to the no spot for the bus stop, or is it gonna be by Taft Street?
That's going to be at this crossing that's at the ramp intersection on that like north side.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And my concern would be now, like there's gonna be a lot of in and out of the parking space with the families picking up the children.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes I see the bus picking up like 4:35, whatever the route is. I'm concerned about accidents, to be frankly honest, because now they are in front, they are going this way, and the parents are either taking a right or a left.
You're concerned about the parents trying to pick up their kids, but then the bus coming in and out of the, of the bus stop. Okay.
That's my concern.
Okay.
Because like that, it's really like my time there. I've been there for 2 years. I've seen over 5 accidents.
Yeah.
With just regular cars.
Yeah.
Now you have a big bus. They can't see fully if the bus is letting people in or out. That's my concern. That
Okay. Yeah, so there's an existing concern with the bus stop location now at Taft's
there is
also?
not.
There's
because
not, okay.
They are going
Afterwards, they're pulling
Now
in,
they're gonna be
okay.
coming forward, and the
Yeah.
parents are gonna be coming in out because our rush hour is between 4:30 and 5:30, and I see 3 or 4 buses come in during that time.
Okay.
So that's my concerns about the
Yeah.
swap of the parking space in the bus stop.
Yeah, I guess the concern I see is like, you have the bus lane, you have the bus coming back in, if you have the parking spaces where they are now, and then the bus having to come back out. So it's kind of doing like around the bus, around the parking. But it's something we can evaluate, we can look at for sure. Yeah, yes.
Thank you.
Sorry. Oh. No. Well, I was just curious, just to piggyback off Nick. Chris Crombie again, Director of Operations. I didn't know if you've explored like police details at certain hours of the day. Is that something that we're looking into based on of what we're talking? Is that feasible? I guess is a question.
I think that's something that can be looked into, yeah, or like crossing guards or something of the sort.
Yeah, I was
I
just
think-
thinking that it just
Yeah.
could maybe is that something look in the future, like right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of
For sure.
congestion there, pick up, drop off, potentially. What is maybe the last 2 hours of the day, perhaps maybe that might be something. to look
Right,
into.
yeah, which is common in school areas. So yeah,
Correct.
absolutely, yeah.
Thank
Ira Novoselsky. Are all the crosswalks that are in that intersection going to have the flashers? Even the small
Looks
ones on eastbound and westbound on the 16?
It's just the one on the north side is gonna have that.
The long one going across Broadway?
Yeah.
Okay.
The other ones are gonna have raised crossings, so they'll, cars will have to
Raised
slow
crosswalks.
down, so, and there'll be better visibility of people crossing.
They'll slow people down, too.
Yeah, that's the goal, right? But that one will have the rectangular rapid flashing beacon, which is because the volume on Broadway is so high.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah.
Juan Jaramillo, 121 Broadway.
Hi.
Hi. I just, I don't have a question. I just want to add to what the guys were concerned about. Is also we have a extremely low lighting there. If Murray's sign is off by any reason, you have no lighting at all there. It's really poor, the lighting there. So adding up that during the winter, when it's really dark at 5 o'clock and the kids are going out of buses and stuff like that, it's going to be challenging for you guys. So I'm just adding that up because we've been asking to get lighting like everywhere in Broadway, but we don't have it yet.
Okay, thank you.
Just one more comment based on what he said.
Yeah.
Because I live in that area and I do a lot of walking around.
Yeah.
All that property in that whole area there near the Cronin Ice Skating Rink and where Route 16 and 107 cross, that whole area, even near the school, you know, the Youth in Motion, none of those lights work, and that's National Grid. That's Mass DOT jurisdiction. Mass DOT you need to contact Mass Highway and tell them that whole area, I mean, I could go around and take the numbers off of poles, but it's dark at night. But that whole area is very dark.
Okay.
And most of the lights are out. At nighttime, they don't go on. And I've had interactions with Mass Highway about leaves and picking up the leaves in the area and trash, and they're tough to deal with. They keep on telling you, we don't have the manpower, we don't have this, we don't have that, we don't have the equipment. Because as you may know or not know, a couple of years ago, when Governor Baker was the governor, okay, the Department of Conservation and Recreation had that whole area.
Yeah.
They took care of it, and they're park people, and they picked up leaves, and they did this, and they cut the grass. Now, when you call Mass DOT in that regard, they tell you, we don't have the equipment, we don't have leaf blowers, we don't have this, we don't have that, but it's still their responsibility. So the question is, why don't they buy the equipment they need, fix the lights? They need to call National Grid.
Yeah, I can, so we'll have that recorded, and I can try to find out. I can try to find some answers for you. Yeah.
Bad lighting on Broadway has a double effect. It has motorists putting on their high beams, blinding people going the opposite way. So bad lighting on a highway or on the street has a double effect. It tells people are putting on their high beams without any consideration of the oncoming. It's a double effect. It's just not the bad lighting.
Yep, that makes sense. If it's raining, forget it. Hot mic, right?
I have a quick question. So, I live in Chelsea. I just want to know, like, so I know, like, it's going to be kind of close over there to come into Revere. So, I already have to, like, come in even earlier, and then I have to worry about parking. And I know you guys are not answering about the parking situation yet because you guys don't have the answer. But if there's that one way, like, that I have to come all around from Chelsea to get to Revere.
You won't have to. Kun, I show the slide again. So that, like, loop, that we show, that's like the workaround, that's only for night work from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. Otherwise,
Okay.
we'll always have 2 lanes open in each direction on Revere Beach Parkway.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I know, it's misleading the way that we, like, present it, but that's only from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Any other questions for the full replacement? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
When is the first phase starting? Has there been a definitive date yet?
For the full replacement project?
No, for the
I do not know. I'm not here.
Okay.
They'll answer those questions after this design public hearing. Yeah, if we're done with replacement questions, we
Great.
can get going with the temporary repair questions.
Thank you.
I just have to formally close the hearing.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Any other questions for the full replacement project? No? Okay. Well, then I want to thank everybody for coming, and we will be in touch. Remember, our project website is available to keep you updated. Any questions that we weren't able to answer, like the lighting, we'll get back to you with those answers. It'll be part of the official transcript. Thank you to the City of Revere for providing this excellent meeting space, and I appreciate everybody's input. So the hearing is officially closed at 7:15 p.m. Thank you.